I'm making this guide to try and help a lot of beginner to intermediate players in Guilty Gear understand common fighting game concepts so that they end up playing and winning more matches and just understanding why they're interacting the way they are. Because a lot of people are playing matches or losing them and they don't know why they're losing and they feel like things are random and they're so close to winning a lot of these matches but they end up losing it because they just don't have a firm foundation on, core topics in fighting games. So this video is going to help you understand that. I'm probably going to make this into a small series of different concepts in fighting games and how to combat them. But for now, I'm just going to try and explain everything as I can. And for the first video, I want to talk about what neutral is and what it means for different characters. So let's take two very different characters like Soul and Axel, and try and use the understanding of neutral to show you how this matchup would be played usually. So, a very simple definition of neutral is it's the space between you and your opponent where there is no clear advantage to be had. Right here, because we're both in round start position, we're both in a state of neutrality, where nobody's plus, nobody's negative, nobody's moved yet. But neutral is usually used to determine playing the space game in fighting games, or the game in between your other games. For a lot of characters, neutral goes somewhat like when neutral, enforce your pressure game, and then continue to go back to neutral and just cycle it, and sometimes go on defense. For example, a character like Soul, his best range to play neutral is at this range, round start. Like right at this range, far slash hits. Gunflame is pretty good for pressure. 2S is really good. 2K can stop counter pokes, and 5K can stop you if you try and jump in on him, right? So this is the range where Soul wants to be. He likes this range because you can press success, Gunflame, and he has a lot of options, right? And always a fair of a throw. So that's Soul's neutral, so to say. And neutral is also very much determined by buttons, how far they go, what they do, special moves too. Because right here you may think, right, Soul can't do anything to me, Kara Fafnir, right? So it just depends on a lot of different things. You have to get used to your character and their buttons and what they do to correctly play neutral. So for Soul's idea of neutral, he basically wants to poke with this button, and he wants to get out of neutral as fast as possible. Soul does not want to play neutral in this game because he's a close mid-range brawler, right? From over here in this screen, this is technically neutral too. From over here, what does Soul have besides Gunflame and maybe Fafnir? Nah, he doesn't want to play in this range, right? He wants to be here, he wants to be here, he wants to be there, right? Also wants to be over there because, that's too high. Well, you know why. And 1080 Gunflame, right? The thing about Axel is that he's the exact opposite. Axel likes neutral because he thrives in it and his buttons go hella far. For example, look at Soul. At this range, Soul cannot press anything. The most he could do, I would say, is like full screen super, maybe. But that's the wrong super. I'm a bot. Is a full screen super, maybe. But even this is an expensive and hard call out because maybe you could do that, but no. However, at this range, Axel has this and he has this, which means that if you get by this, hit you with the star for that. He can draw you in close to him. And he always has an option to get out. Axel's entire game plan in this game is to play neutral. And that's different because that's what a zoner is in fighting games. They want to play neutral a lot because this is the range they thrive at. Very far buttons that are all very annoying to approach against. The thing is, because he has normals that go this far, they're very slow. So at this range, if Axel presses far slash, right, and Soul presses far slash at the same time, Soul wins. Or is in a more advantageous position than Axel, because Axel losing neutral is big. Once Axel loses neutral, man, pressure's too late. Once Axel presses neutral, because he has very slow buttons on wake up, right? What can he really press besides 5K and 2K? And this is where it becomes important to understand both neutral options and what is past that. Because once you, a lot of people struggle beating Axels because he does a lot of this. You know what I'm saying? He keeps you away with this. Then he brings you close. Then he does some stuff like this. And if he actually hits you, he gets really big damage. Sorry, I'm not good at this combo. But yeah, if he actually hits you, he also gets pretty good damage. Like, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what Axel wants to do in this game. And because he wants to do that, it is your job as the person playing neutral against Axel to deal with this. Axel's going to throw out a lot of moves like this. And all of a sudden, he's going to charge and do that, right? So it's your job to find ways to beat this. Okay, so what does that mean? Oh, I lose if I try and far slash round start against that. Okay. But if I really want to, I can run underneath it from this range. So once I'm at this range with Axel, playing neutral means running underneath and mashing a button, right? Trying to run underneath if he tries to press this button on me and trying to punish it. Alright, well, what if the Axel stops doing that? Now he's doing a lot of 2HS into this, right? So what am I going to do here? Try and jump and see if the option works. There are many things you can do in neutral, and nothing is a surefire answer because it's up to you to figure out what you actually want to do. Not everything is bound to work, and every character has to cycle through an amount of options to win depending on what they're doing. Here's why neutral is important though, because if you are good at neutral, technically it's always your turn. What does that mean? Alright. Or sorry, it's also that idea and also the idea that if you learn to get comfortable with neutral, you learn a new facet of the game that you're good at. I'm telling you right now, everybody can mash buttons. It's not hard to do this, especially in Guilty Gear Strive. It's not hard to do this. It's just not. Everybody from floor 1 to 10 knows how to just mash buttons and then B+ all the time because that's what this game incentivizes, right? But playing neutral is way harder to do because you actually have to play against somebody. You're no longer just saying, all right, I'm gonna just mash and if it works, right? You're deciding to make a choice to beat the other opponent. And that's what's big about neutral, which is the reason why 6P is so good in neutral a lot of times, because it's a hard call out. It means that you are so confident in what the opponent is doing that you're willing to 6P him, which loses bad to 2D. You're willing to take a 2D punish, and in this game, bro, 2D's hurt. You're willing to take a 2D punish that's going to counter hit because you're willing to guess. That's all neutral is. Sometimes it's a hard read, like if all this Axel does is this, right? Right? If all he's doing is that, then eventually I'm just gonna do that, right? Eventually. But if the actual player varies it up, maybe he's gonna do this fucking like one time and then it's gonna do that. So I'm gonna just look dumb. So I'm gonna block the first one. Now look stupid, right? So it's important to understand what neutral means, how different characters play neutral because every character does it differently, and if it's important for you to stop their approach. I'm gonna show you a really good example of why it is really important to play neutral, or to learn about other characters neutral so that you can stop their approach. And we're gonna use an example like Chip. Chip is a very good example of this. Alright. Here it is. So, Chip is a very fast character in this game, and his entire goal is to mix you, right? You get knocked down by Chip once, it's mix time. And he gets the lucky hit. That's Chip, right? Low damage, but very high reward in the fact that he has a lot of sticking power, right? I mean, he has 3 jumps for crying out loud, which means that he can technically air dash, jump, get in there, dash in. Mix you up like this. What's the jump? There's like a... it's like this. Bro, I'm still fucking this shit up. That's left, and you can do something like this. Jesus, my timing is so bad for this. That's right, right? So that's the whole game plan of Chip. But let me show you something really cool, right? If that's what Chip wants to do, guess what? 6P him. Better yet, maybe close slash him. It counter hits sometimes, but off the trade, if you're willing to risk it, go for it. Or if you're playing Soul, 5K that. Right? And you're thinking, alright, well, it's not that much damage I'm getting off of Chip for all of this, right? But that matters because that's what Chip is all about. Look how low damage that is. Even if you call it out with a basic move like 6P, right? And you just slap a button at the end of it, or just RC it or something. You're still giving Chip around 40% for basically jumping in at a bad angle. Or just, bro, air grab that bitch. Like, what? By stopping a Chip from approaching this way, you've already narrowed so many of his options to playing a different game that a lot of Chips are just not comfortable with. You can definitely play Chip slow on the ground, where you whiff punish and try and move in like that, or just try and do a lot of this, but guess what? If Chip wants to just run up and do a bunch of running close slashes, or running far slashes even, well, one, you can actually grab far slash sometimes. This is why it's good to test your options. But if you're not trying to be random and grab far slash, you can also notice that he's running up. Let me occupy some space. That move's a cutter. You know? Don't just let him get free run-ups on you. That's good. So in a game like Strive, neutral is so important because if a Chip is not actually trying to play neutral against you, and by that means I'm saying that his neutral attempts are very weak because it keeps doing the same options over and over again, it's on you to call him out. That's why he's a noob killer, because he's going to get by mixing you up so much you don't know what's going on. But guess what? The first time you anti your Chip, and you just show him that, bro, you can hurt if you try and do some dumb stuff. The second that you do that, it's a bigger mind game. You have now forced a Chip to stop doing an option that is really good. And what's Chip if he doesn't have 3 jumps? A bad character, right? Now, obviously, there are ways to circumvent this. As a Chip player, you can definitely get better and do different approaches. Maybe you're going to do like this instead. Or maybe you're going to just jump a lot, air backdash, throw shuriken. Or maybe you're just going to jump, fast fall J2K, run up, do that, right? Or just jump, do nothing, FD once, jump, wait, hold that, jump twice. You have options, bottom line. But you can never vary up your options if you aren't first willing to take a risk in learning something, right? You'll never know with Chip that you should vary up your options from just doing this if you don't first get counter hit. So you need to lose. And that's the biggest thing about fighting games, that before I even finish the rest of this series or go into the next episode, I need you guys to understand that you're going to lose. Like, if there's nothing is going to stop you from losing. You're going to lose some matches that you should win. You're going to win some matches that you should lose, technically. That's just the nature of fighting games. They're very volatile. Especially fighting games made nowadays. They're meant so that you can lose and win a lot. But it's not about who wins or loses the matches. It's about what you learn from it, alright? Because, for example, I could go in the tower every day, play subpar people, get mad, and go like, well, damn, I really just got online today just to play people that aren't even trying to play the game, which does happen. Or I can take that experience and go like, well, you know what, whatever these people are going to play like, I don't care. I'm just going to sit here and learn different things and see what their buttons do and see how I can interact more with these characters I'm playing. So yes, this has been neutral. The final takeaways are, figure out what your character does, figure out why your character is able to do that, and then understand both the counterplay to the actions that you are taking and the counterplay to the actions that are being taken against you, so that you can learn and adapt. And after a while, your neutral options will start to have more meaning. You'll stop far slashing just because you want to, and start saying, alright, maybe I should far slash here, and then 2S afterwards to catch the mash back. Maybe I should just far slash Gunflame, just to catch somebody mashing in between my string, because it is technically a gap. So yes, please explore your options.